Hi, everyone. I'm Therese, and this is New York Girl Again, The After, the podcast for caregivers who have survived the hardest chapter of their lives and are now gathering both the courage and the strength to write the next one. Today, we are continuing the Movement is Healing series. We started this series a few weeks ago with dance. The first invitation to get out of our heads and back into our bodies. Then I had my conversation with Teresa Grattan of Flying Fabrics by Teresa, where we talked about confidence, body image, joy, and the courage to be seen. In the last episode, we talked about strength training as a way of caring for the body that carried us through survival. And this week, I want to talk about something even simpler. Outrageously simple, actually. Walking. Walking as a way back into the world. A way back into our bodies. A way back into the life that may have gotten very small while we were caring for someone else. Because caregiving does make your world smaller in so many ways, doesn't it? Sometimes it happens so gradually that you don't even notice it at first. You stop making plans because everything depends on how someone else is doing. You stop going certain places because it's too hard to leave or too hard to arrange. Your days become built around medications, meals, appointments, phone calls, laundry, worry, and whatever crisis is waiting around the corner. You may still be moving all day, but it's not the same as moving freely. You are moving from task to task, from room to room, from need to need. And when the caregiving chapter changes or ends, there can be this strange emptiness. The world is suddenly there again, but you may not know how to step back into it. Your body may be tired. Your mind may still be on high alert. Your heart may be grieving, relieved, confused, restless, maybe all of it, all at once. Walking gives us somewhere to begin again. To follow for healing. That sounds almost too simple, I know. But I think simple is exactly what we need sometimes. When you don't know how to get through the grief or rebuild a life, you can still put on your shoes or sneakers. You can still walk to the end of the block. You can still step outside and let the air hit your face. You can still move, even if you don't know what comes next. For me, walking was, and still is, very much tied to my dogs. Well, caregiving for my dad, the last leg of my 25-year caregiving journey, I try to get out and walk a little with my 4 fur babies at the time. But as his disease, progressive supranuclear palsy, progressed, and his falls increased while his cognitive abilities declined, I had to completely stop for quite some time. After he passed, in the after, I started walking with them again. Short distances at first, just enough to clear my mind and push that tremendous grief through my veins and somehow out of my body, at least temporarily, through my breath and through some laughter as I try to wrangle 4 canine littles of various senior ages and agility levels along sidewalks lined with the aromas of canines past. It was good for all of us, actually. My dogs were grieving too. They loved my dad so much. The 5 of us were on the bed with him when he took his last breath. Fast forward 5 years into the after, and I have also lost 3 of those 4 angels along the way. But I have opened my heart to 2 new earth angels, Rio and Rain. Puppies, no less, with all that boundless, ADHD-like puppy energy. They don't care if I feel tired or sad, or if I slept badly. They don't care if I'm overthinking my entire life before 5 a.m. They just know it's time to go outside and get moving. There are squirrels to chase, birds to hop into the air for, traffic to be mesmerized by, and of course, other dogs to bark a hello to. And honestly, what a tremendous gift. Because once you are out the door moving, a transformation does take place. The air, the rhythm, and a simple sense of forward movement begin working together, almost like a blanket of healing wrapping itself around you. You can think while walking. You can cry while walking. You can pray while walking. You can listen to music, listen to a podcast, talk to your dog, or say absolutely nothing. There is no one right way to do it. And for caregivers in the after, I think that matters, because so much of caregiving is about doing things the right way, or at least trying desperately not to do anything wrong. The right medication, the right appointment, the right question for the doctor, the right decision at the right time, the right tone, even when you are exhausted or just want to break down into tears. Walking could be one place where nobody needs anything from you. You just walk. And if you are rebuilding after grief, burnout, caregiving, or a long season of survival, that can be enough. A walk around the block counts. 10 minutes counts. A slow walk counts. A walk where you stop halfway. A walk where you cry. A walk where you almost turn around but keep going a little longer. They all count. We have to stop dismissing the small beginnings, because sometimes the small beginning is the whole miracle. Sometimes it's also the inspiration to push yourself farther. And that is exactly what I am doing. I am actually training to complete the New York City Marathon with an amazing charity, Team for Kids. And I want to be very honest about what that actually means for me. This is not going to be some glossy running story where I pretend I'm suddenly this perfectly trained athlete floating through the streets of New York. No way. This is a walk-run story. This is a rebuilding story. This is an honor where you actually are, not where your ego wishes you were story. And I know most people equate the marathon with strictly running. But walking is not separate from this marathon for me. Walking is a huge part of it. Walking is part of the training for me. It's part of the humility. Walking is part of the strategy. Walking is part of my healing. Sometimes we act as if walking is what you do when you can't run. But I don't see it that way anymore. Walking is what keeps you moving. It's what lets you continue. It's what says, I may not be fast, but I am still in this. And truthfully, it feels like life in the after to me. You may not be moving fast. You may not look like you used to. You may not feel like the person you were before caregiving, before grief, before everything changed. But you are still here. You are still allowed to move forward. You are still allowed to begin again in whatever way your body and your life can manage right now. That is what this marathon represents for me. It's not about proving that I am mentally and physically tough. Caregiving already proved that. It's not about pretending this is easy, because at 57, it absolutely is not. It is not about speed or achieving personal best times. It is about forward motion. It's about taking this body, this life, this after, and saying, we are still going. As part of this marathon journey, I'm also fundraising for Team for Kids, and my goal is $4,000. Team for Kids supports youth and community running programs, helping kids build confidence, health, discipline, joy, and a relationship with movement that can stay with them for life. That feels deeply connected to this whole series. Because if we believe movement is healing for us, then we also understand how powerful it is for children to discover early that their bodies are not just something to criticize or compare. Their bodies can carry them, strengthen them, connect them, and empower them. So yes, I'm asking for your support. If this podcast has meant something to you, if this Movement is Healing series has spoken to you, or if you simply want to support this very human, very imperfect walk-run journey, I would be so grateful for your donation. The link is in the show notes and also on my social media. And please know this, I do not take support lightly. Every donation is going to remind me, especially on the hard training days, that this is way bigger than me. It is connected to kids, to movement, to healing, to community, and to the belief that the after was never meant to be the end of the story. I also want to say this very clearly. You do not need to train for a marathon to let walking change something in you. You do not need a race or a medal or expensive sneakers or the perfect route or 10,000 steps. You can start with 5 minutes. You can walk to the mailbox or walk to your neighbor's house. You can walk around the block. You can walk in a store when the weather is bad. You can walk your dog, or you can walk with a friend, or you can walk alone and let yourself hear your own thoughts for the first time in a while. The invitation is not to become someone else overnight. The invitation is to move a little, to return a little, and to give your body a little evidence that life is still happening and you are still part of it. And while you walk, try not to turn it into another place where you attack yourself. Try not to spend the whole walk thinking about how out of shape you are, how far you used to go, how fast someone else is, or how much you think you have lost. Let the walk be kinder than that. Maybe say, we are starting where we are. Or, this counts. Maybe say, I don't have to know the whole way today. Or say, just the next step. Because sometimes that really is enough. Just the next step. Caregiving teaches us how to keep going for someone else. Walking can teach us how to keep going for ourselves. It reminds us that the sky is still there. The road is still there. The neighborhood is still there. And the body is still capable of beginning. The future is still quietly waiting for us to participate. So this week, take a walk. Take a walk because you are still here and your body deserves care. Take a walk because sometimes movement helps us hear the part of ourselves that got buried under all that responsibility. Take a walk because you don't have to run to be moving forward. That may be the thing I want us to remember most today. You do not have to run to be moving forward. You do not have to be fast to be brave. You do not have to be fully ready to begin. Sometimes healing begins when you put your shoes on, open the door, and take one step back toward yourself. This is the Movement is Healing series. And this week, we are walking ourselves back to life. Thank you for listening to New York Girl Again, The After. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with someone who may need a gentle reminder that beginning again can start with putting one foot in front of the other. And if you would like to support my New York City marathon journey with Team for Kids, the donation link is in the show notes and on my social media. Every contribution helps. Every bit of support will carry me through those miles. Until next time, keep gathering the courage and the strength to write the next chapter. Because the after was never the end. It is just the beginning.